to the position we were in last week. There's no doubt about it. But as I said at the start of the conference here, it can change in a second. So we'll just go next week with an open mind and see what comes of it.
Dario, from all appearances, your last 25 laps were precise. No bobbles, no nothing. Almost perfect, but it wasn't perfect enough. How can you reconcile that?
Well, I think with the speed we had in the car, I thought I didn't make any mistakes there. But it comes down to the fact that I think Ed's car was a little quicker, and Ed didn't make any mistakes either. That's what this sport's all about. That's what IndyCar is about. That's what happens sometimes. And you sit here thinking, what would be nice if, but it wasn't if. Ed got it, and congratulations to him and the Sarah Fisher team. And we got to go to Vegas next week and try and get the job done.
Paul.
Did either of you guys have any issues with pit out or pit in with the reconfigurations of the track, or did it turn out to be mostly a non-issue during the race?
It was a little slippery on pit out, but I think the reason we didn't have an issue is because nobody stopped there. The problem with it pit out now, it gives you no options. If somebody runs out of fuel or somebody spins, it blocks it completely. So what do? Do you sit there and wait for the yellow to come out, or do you drive up on the track at 100 miles an hour when somebody's passing you 210? It just gives you, it can create a roadblock there, a very dangerous roadblock. So that's the problem we have with it. The IndyCar guys went to the people here at Kentucky Speedway after our test last week, and they repaved it, which was a huge help. So thank you to the people at Kentucky Speedway for doing that, and for the IndyCar people, for Brian Barnhart and those guys for coming down and making sure it was done.
Hi, Dario, bearing in mind what happened to Will today, and there's going to be 34 cars in Vegas, and you're going to be 11, so presumably the pit stalls are going to be absolutely minuscule. Is that a particular worry?
Anytime you go on pit road, there's that possibility exists. You've got to try and minimise, those type of. Sometimes there's mistakes made, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes I don't actually know what happened to Will. We qualified badly yesterday. Because of that, we're going to be mid-pack. I don't think the boxes are too small, so normal pit lane there. I think there's 38 feet.
I believe 38 is correct.
2 feet shorter than today's. Right, I'll be all right.
Dario, what point did you become aware that Will had an issue? And once you find out he does it change how you're racing at all?
Well, it changed my mood in the car a little bit, I can tell you that. But it didn't change how I raced. They didn't tell me anything. No, it didn't change strategy or anything. Maybe it changed the strategy on the stand. I don't know if you have to ask Chip and Chris that one, but they didn't say a thing. And so I was going around, I think we're at that point, we're leading. And I see this car up ahead, and I'm starting to catch it, about to lap it. I'm thinking, it looks like a 12. A little closer, it is the 12. And then when I got within about, 5 car lengths, the yellow came out. But by that point, I knew he was in trouble. But I don't need to know what's happening with Will or any of the other guys, really, because I'm just focused on doing my job.
And then I sort of wanted to ask you the question Bruce wouldn't ask you, but did ask Dixon. I mean, your championship run is certainly impressive, and while not saying you compare yourself to Jimmy Johnson or anyone else like that, where do you view it in the grand scheme of things? Where do you view yourself and your accomplishments?
I suppose that's something to think about when I retire, and not really yet. I'm not thinking about what's happened before. I think if you get too distracted and sitting there thinking, oh man, 3 championships, whatever, you're losing focus. So I'm just thinking about Vegas next week now, or 2 weeks time, and trying to do what I have to do there to get number 4. And then I guess when eventually I retire, I'll think about things in that wider picture. But I will say what Jimmy's done he's been so impressive. I mean, he's a pal of mine, and I think in some ways he doesn't get the recognition and the respect he deserves, because I think like most forms of racing now, the competition level is higher than it's ever been. There's more people can win, and he just keeps getting it done. And him and his team is really, really impressive. And the cool thing is he hasn't changed one bit.
He's winning today.
Is he? Good.
questions? Well, Dario, Scott.